Good morning and welcome to the New Orleans TV Internetwork. As you know, we started yesterday with a new program, even though it really wasn't a program, and it's still not yet today, called Rant Revue, which is a not so talk show. It's cute. Our big idea now is to get you to call in our new feature instead of we're transmitting. Sound like it's my old TV days. We are broadcasting, live streaming on both Facebook under my name, Bob Bockelman, and under YouTube, R Revue. You can always, as you since the beginning, put a public comment or chat on the screen. Some of them we can bring up if you'd like to discuss something. Um, I hadn't thought about a topic yet. I mean, of course, the purveying one is New Orleans, is the coronavirus, and trying to be upbeat instead of downbeat. But the key here is I'm begging, asking, whatever it is seating. We're trying to get the new feature, and we think we have it worked out. It's all operator error, of course, my fault, for you to call our local number. So if you're in the New Orleans vicinity from which we emanate, area code that is, or if you have unlimited phone calls or go through Google Voice, you can call in and ask me anything. But right now, it's mainly meet and greet. When yesterday we did have some gentleman try and get in twice. A very nice Chad from Ohio. I'll repeat his name again. Hopefully he doesn't mind. But we would love to hear from you. So I'm asking you now to pick up your cell phone, your old antiquated mobile phone if you have one on landline, and dial the number you see in the bottom right screen, 504 383 3654. Just to say hello, if you want to get right off, just want to verify that I can do it now, pick it up to answer the calls. And then once I know that, then we can go and start doing shows about, talking about some topics. Now I'm going to rant or go on to this until we hear a call. Hopefully we'll get one or see some comments come on the chat line. But there are four taboos on the show once we get it fully operational. One is language. Sorry, I'm old time. I don't even know we on the internet. You can say any word you want. Supposedly, I ask you, beg you not to. Otherwise, I might have to. I do have a ability to cut your call off and also to ban you from the show. So no vulgar, street, whatever you call it. Might be common for you and understood, but these old ears don't want to hear it. So I appreciate if you respect that. Again, the number 504 383 3654. Saturday morning. Yesterday we were plagued with errors. It must have been the curse of Friday. So I'm going to make sure my phone, first of all, oh, gee. I'm going to verify that my phone is on sound because it does ring through my phone. Sound and the volume's up. So, okay, I'm ready for you. 504 383 3654. We're talking about the taboos of the show. We mentioned language. Next one, the subjects of sports, politics, and religion. All very valid, wonderful subjects that people are passionate about. But as far as I'm concerned, they're saturated on the typical local and national talk shows. Okay. So we're going to keep it, we're going to ask you to refrain from such. And even though we love our saints here and and our politics are ripe for conversation, especially now with the things that have been happening in New Orleans even before the coronavirus, but compared to that, I mean, added to that. And sports is something that I observe and like, but I'm not a passionate follower. So you'll have to forgive me for that if that's one of your forays. So we're going to also avoid those topics if we could. Let's see if there's any. I know there's two more situations we're asking you to do. And of course, old Bob didn't check his notes in advance Because again, my idea is I'm asking you to please give us a call, 504-383-3654. Uh, Otherwise, go in the chat and tell us hello. Tell us you're watching or you're bored with us or whatever. Send out a subject, okay? Topic. We'll be happy to explore as long as it doesn't meet those same four categories. Again, one of my other concerns is if you draw out a category that I don't know about, which, dummy me, unless we get other callers or chatters, then there's really no need. I mean, you can go ahead and give your opinion, your presentation, but it's going to die there. I mean, hopefully we generate conversation, but we won't have much of a show on that topic unless we get some response, especially if I don't know what the heck it is. And I'm not afraid to admit that I don't know what the heck it is. I have opinions on a lot of stuff, which probably everyone does, the old adage. I see we got a couple of folks. Come on, folks. Please give me a call, 504-383-3654. I'm testing to see if I can handle the calls. That's the key to this not so talk show is if it's going to be a talk show, I have to be able to get people to participate. And the easiest way now, the newest of the third additional way is to use your telephone, a landline or smartphone if you're going to be charged. Dial that phone number, 504-383-3654. Just say hello. Maybe if you're nice enough to tell us your first name and where you're calling from. And then if you have anything you want to add to the program or ask, other than why am I doing it, then I'll be happy to entertain such. And who knows, we'll generate conversation like a typical talk show, which we don't want to be. We want to be an atypical talk show. Then on, we might be able to bring guests on like we do in our regular shows. We on NOTVIN, we have 15 or 14 other programs. Now, they're not always on because it's all dependent on guests on that particular topic that that show pertains to. So once again, we ask you, as we always do, please send in a request to me about one of three things. One, if you want to have a particular topic covered on the show. Two, if you would like to have your own show and carpet or co-host one of these shows. Or three, like I said, maybe two and three are blended together. Anyway, the way you do that is you can do one of three ways now. One, you can send it to my email, which I didn't put a ticker up, Bob, B-O-B, at rrevue.net, not com. I have both of them, but net is where the mail goes through. Bob at rrevue.net. You can messenger me on Facebook. I don't use email anymore that often, but of course, whenever I get something, I don't initiate an email, but I certainly, any ones I receive, I do respond to. Facebook Messenger under my name, Bob Bockelman. Or now, when the show is active, you can call us, just like we're asking now, 504-383-3654, and let us know what topic you'd like to hear, whether it's on this show, whether you'd like to see a whole hour-long show, which hours are live, and try to arrange a guest that would be applicable to that subject matter. Or if you'd like to join us here in the network, we're a fledgling network and always expanding our purvey. So come on, folks. I've seen some people come on and like to see if one of you just give me a call, 504-383-3654. Let me know you're out there. Let me know what you'd like to hear, and just show me that I can do this. I mean, like I said, I think that we've learned that the mechanical part is working, so I know that. It's just a matter of whether I can flip the right buttons, as they say, and switches, or whatever they say in old time radio talk or TV talk, which I think I've got it down now, how to go ahead and answer the call and bring you on air. Remember, we'll just bring you on audibly, not visually. So don't just be like a talk show. I'll still be there, but we'll just hear your voice. So please, please, please. Otherwise, I'm gonna shut this down because all I'm doing is trying to find people who would be interested in, one, helping me out by testing the waters with making sure I could pick up the phone call. Two, giving some fodder for us to talk about. I might go ahead and brave the waters of coronavirus. It's so interesting to see so many people's opinion on such, from the opinion of, well, it's not something we have to weather, which is laissez-faire, which would kind of be New Orleans' normal philosophy, but at the same time, nowadays, even New Orleans has taken, with the onset of appearances during this week, we went from last weekend, one person, I think, went to three, went to six, went to 19, and now we have 26 in New Orleans, 36, 10 others throughout the rest of the state. So we're growing just like everyone else in the wrong way with regard to those numbers. Of course, you hear all the hysteria of and ridiculous done of the people hoarding the two supplies, sanitizing lotion and toilet paper, and then these people who, they're talking about these national crooks who are charging one of them five. I heard this morning $5,000 in advance for one of those products, and it's all a scam. That is people who are really stealing money. I mean, obviously they ask you money in advance, or they ask you to do Western Union or this stuff. But locally, we have on Facebook, and Facebook hasn't done anything about it. There's a thing called Marketplace. Hope you know what that is. And it's generally a good deal where people can, and they don't have to be in your area, but they post in your area. Most of the time they are local. Different things they have, services, products, which is just like eBay or Etsy stores. The problem is now it's filling up with these same type of articles with prices. I mean, I only saw one for like $300, $319 for something silly. But most of them average like $5 a roll of toilet paper or $5 for the sanitizing solution. And we were hearing this morning, I've never paid attention to sanitizing solution. I thought they all were the same. I just like the ones that smelled good, and you know, that unless you get a sanitizing solution with 60% or more, alcohol is the thing that they still say soap and water scrubbing. And one lady has been ingenious. I think a teacher. I think that's why she's developed a whole little song, one of the catchy little songs, and a process using her children for kids, and like not emojis but logos or whatever you call the things that pictures representing words or subject. And it's like 4 steps: soap and water, bristly scissors around the thing, and again I don't remember it all, but I mean, washing the hands. We know it is, extremely important. It is all during life because of any kind of disease or dirt you can carry on from yourself to your loved ones or someone else. So, but as I mentioned, there's all kind of creative stuff, but some of the stuff is really just exploited. I don't know if you have encountered any of that, but if I were you, I would hold out to the last end before I started paying $5, $10, or plus dollars for either sanitizing lotion or toilet paper. I mean, I know it's hard to find. I know, but again, I think the obvious thing when I talk is to, first of all, we know the big stores get them every day or every other day, and then they fly off because there's huge queues of people waiting. Try some of the smaller, the independents, things that you wouldn't think of, whether it's a small grocery store. Now they're not gonna have as much, and but if you get 1 or 2 rolls or bottles, whatever, it'd be a little bit out of your way, but it's better than standing in line, and then maybe wind up, for hours or half hours on end, and then wind up empty-handed anyway. But hopefully it's going to pass. That's the key, and we got to be somewhat hopeful. We got to be fearful and hopeful at the same time. Usual double-edged sword with most things. Again, folk, I'd love for you to please give me a call, 504-383-3654, using your smartphone or your landline, so I can see if I can pick you up. And don't get offended if I don't. It's only because I'm learning which buttons, tabs, what do you want to call it, I need to go hop from left and right to get you online. So I'm slow because I'm old. I'm not good at multitasking anymore. So that's. But I think we can do it now. I tried a couple of times last night. I know the process. There was something I was missing as usual. So we've got that down. So please give us a call. Just say hello, or it's working, or whatever. Give us your name if you like and where you're from. If you have something you'd like to talk about, a weekly address. As long as I have some knowledge about it, I'll put it out, or you bring it out. And let's see what what I can talk about and or maybe generate additional interest. So that way we'd really have some kind of conversation or rant as the term rant review. We don't have since it's not an official program, we don't have our typical background and our things because we just want to wait till we actually having a show where we're able to work. So that's the key. We can't really start the programs on an official basis if we don't know how to do the working. So we want to make sure it's working and I can handle it. We know it's working because it worked last night, but it's just whether I can handle it. So please give us a call. I see a few people on there. Let's talk about something, please. And I'm talking about the coronavirus. I don't want to talk about that. It's too saturated. It's too depressing for the most part. And then, of course, there's the other people who don't believe it. So like the flat Earth principles. Don't want to talk about flat Earth because that's covered by a lot of people too. Now, I don't know why that's very popular nowadays, but that's been a philosophy over the years. Back to whoever it was that philosophized years ago. I can't even remember the guy's name, the gentleman who actually forecast that the Earth was flat. Somebody proved it differently, supposedly. Anyway, what else can we talk about? Let's talk about something happy. Well, we just finished Mardi Gras, and if you want to know anything about that, of course, now I'm hearing some folks, then this is something that we haven't heard much, that friends of mine who work with horses, they do a kind of therapeutic stuff. 2 horses have passed away in one little area, in one little stable locally here. And of course, one was a colt and one was an adult horse, different days of the week. And they died from some type of virus, but it hasn't been, it's been sent off for necropsy, the LSU, but it hasn't been determined whether it's coronavirus. And once again, we love our animals supposedly, but we don't even think that they could get a possibility of this. I mean, they get enough things as well, but if there's a chance they could get this or some other virus that we don't even think about, here we are, we're playing with them, and if we could be passing the same things on with the animals. So again, I don't want to bring it down, but we can see that it touches a lot of elements. And one of the reasons why I brought it up, I was talking about Mardi Gras. One of the horses was actually involved in a Mardi Gras parade. Could be totally coincidental with all the parades we have in this, and it's been a couple of weeks anyway, but it's just an interesting statistic or information, fact, that's a better word. Let's see, what else? Come on, folks. I lost a couple of folks. I'm sorry. I guess I guess I'm boring you. But I'm begging you to please call the number 504-383-3654. You don't have to stay on long. Just say hello, where you're from, and go on your first name. I would love to hear from you, to know that you have some interest in our shows. We can talk about some of our shows. Now, I've done, we call them PSAs for our programs, public service announcement. I don't know if that's really a misnomer, but our original program from the little guy up in the right, the brand name there was Restaurant Revue. And our programs follow, for the most part, a similar format, whereby we talk always an hour, always live, even though we have replays and now available. You can see anytime on the YouTube channel. And we bring a guest on to and present either digital pics or video clips of his or her work, and talk about that. So you'll see. So the restaurant one has been around since 2000, whereby in the original 15 years when I was on cable, was strictly New Orleans. We've expanded that. We call them Chef's Chat now for USA and worldwide, where we bring on chefs to you from around the globe. We have artist programs, artist review. We have film. We're getting a lot of that. We haven't. A couple of times we've had some missteps, and that's readers review. We want to get some type of whether it's a book club where they meet together, or just someone an author. A couple of authors have kind of stood us up. One just didn't even show when the show was scheduled. We had to cancel. I feel bad about that. It was a very interesting topic on relating to New Orleans and to the Mardi Gras. So if you think of any of these things, go to the channel, Go look for all the PSAs, and that'll explain each of the shows for you if you're not familiar with it. Again, the way to see it, most of them are has a letter R in the front of it, and Revue, like our producing company. And the first R is expanded to be whatever the topic is. The rest, realty. We have one on realtors. Uh, anyway, so we've got several in the works for you, and we're hoping that you will participate at least by watching either live or after the fact. So we know that you maybe have some interest in some of the, we think, won't say the best quality, but some of the quality program. I am, even though I was in TV for 15 years, I was never a favorite of the general sitcoms, and kind of, I'm a little difficult with regard to comedy. I find comedy, it's the old idea of Shakespeare, whatever, tragedy and comedy, that tragedy can be very comedic. So in things of life, then not contrived. Comedians, for the most part, they might have great delivery, and I appreciate that. But most of the jokes, the prescribed jokes, I just don't care for, and that's why I don't participate. People love to tell jokes, and I don't laugh, and they get offended. You don't want to hear all this. Again, I'm getting negative. We don't want to get negative. Let's talk about something. I just had a good subject in my mind, and of course, the old mind loses it. But I'm still begging you to call 504-383-3654 so we can see if any of my friends, if I have any friends out there that might be listening to this, I know that what I'm trying to do in this particular show. You would just call to make sure that I can pick up the call. We know the call works. I just got to be able to pick it up. Again, you don't have to say anything but hello or name and location. And if you want to talk about something, we certainly are here to hear it, other than the four topics that we don't normally talk about. I should have written down some new ones this morning, but again, I was hoping that we got some callers so I would know we had an official program, so we would set this up. So right now, these shows are going to be impromptu, as I'm calling them, not on a regularly scheduled basis like all the rest of ours is, until we know that we've got some callers, and that, of course, I'm able to pick up the call. We will do that mainly during the daytime as opposed to the evening, but who knows? One night, like I said, once I know I can handle the calls, we'll also try the evenings, because we have several evening shows that do fairly well with regard to the audience. Maybe they're home and maybe they're not interested. Now, I'm hoping one of the positive things of coronavirus is that if you have to be quarantined home, or you're self-quarantining, or whatever all the different terminology, meaning that if you're spending more time home, you'll find this as not just us, some of YouTube, all the internet things, as a creative alternative. Your children play the games or whatever, and that's great for them. But I'm hoping that you all are looking for something, as I always am, a little bit more appropriate and a little more interesting than the typical television. I mean, they serve a purpose. At the same time, I think we have a lot of fluff, especially during the main hours. So anyway, we're still talking, still trying to get you to give us a call. We don't even see a chat. I mean, I really feel bad. Can't even get a public chat, not even a hello there, either on your YouTube or your Facebook Live. You can use the public, as long as you're on public chat as opposed to private. You can send us a comment. We'll be happy to mention it if you like, or answer a question, or bring it on the screen so people can see it. But the big deal is we'd like to hear from someone. And specifically, the whole test of this, the third test is to try and see if I can pick up the call. So unless you make a call, I can't pick it up. 504-383-3654. I'm just going to be like a mechanical robot here and keep throwing that out to you, hoping that you'll get not the nerve, just the interest, or just helping a fellow person to try and do something that he or she is interested in doing. And I'm certainly interested in doing this broadcasting. I have all my life, not all my life. There we go. I can't believe it. Give me a chance. Here we go. We're going to see who it is. All right. Good morning. Well, good morning. Hello, this is hopefully you won't mind. This is my bestest, I get my bestie or whatever you call it, Leonard Lewis. Leonard, welcome. Uh, uh, Good. I appreciate you calling. Just so I can make sure you helped me last night. He was a dear. It helped me maneuver and navigate through this. So this way I was able to successfully pick up the call. How you like that, folks? So if you're watching, you know now that Bob can actually do it. So you see it works. So we're going to ask that later on during the show after we finish the call that you'll try it. I'm not going to hang on all day because the important thing here was strictly a test. This is the third test, but the other two I did not master the art of navigating to retrieve the call. What's happening this morning? I know you were out for your ritualistic and errands. Anything else special happening? So, oh, life in the corona. I was just talking to our friend Paula, and she was saying that she doesn't blame it on that particular virus, but two horses, a colt and a horse, have died this week in the stables that she works. One of the ones that she does her therapies on, and one of them actually had walked in the Mardi Gras parades, the adults. So how you like that? So I didn't even think about the poor animals, that they might also be affected. They had to send the deceased corpse or whatever to LSU for necropsy to see if they can determine what other causes of the horse's demise, especially the colt. It was only 1 year old or something like that. Anyway, um, do you want to stay on the phone? I don't want to. I don't want to keep you. You're driving, or okay? Well, I've been begging and begging for a good, well, I've been on for about 20 minutes now. So I've been begging people to give me a try. And I see some people keep coming on and off, but nobody's, at least you proved that now that I can do it and it does work. So now when I do these shows, I can actually create topics and start talking about topics rather than just trying to see whether or not I can do the technical part of it. So, okay, so drive safely and we'll see you a little later then, huh? All right, thanks very much. Let's see if I can do it by. Uh-oh. Doesn't sound good now. Okay, folks. Well, there we go. There we go. It actually works. Can you believe that? There you go. I mean, I am really impressed with myself. So somebody else is watching. Maybe it's still Leonard. But you see, I can do it if you paid attention. I am able to retrieve the calls. Pat on my back. Good work, old man. So would love you to call. Like I said, I'll stay on for a little while and see if anyone else wants to dare the waters and give us a call at 504-383-3654. It is a chargeable call, so I understand if you don't have unlimited calling or if you're outside of the area. But we would love to hear from you. We have a pretty good audience in some of our other shows. Some say way out of the country. Some in India, and other places. Africa, Europe, and all those are suffering with the virus as well. But the thing here is they're in completely different time zones. So let's see, right now, yeah, most of those are at least from 5 to 20, like Australia, 23 hours ahead of us. So it's although the 5 hours, some parts of London now, but I guess I think they're too busy on Saturday. So, and India is around 10 hours. So if it's almost 10, that's two. It's 8 o'clock at night. Saturday night must be date night, like Friday night. So we can understand. Whoa, we can understand nobody calling for those out of way countries. But and remember, there's one of the gentlemen called yesterday who I wasn't able to retrieve said he used the same thing we use in Google Voice. So that's what we have installed on the other software we use for transmitting. So if you're familiar with that, I think that allows you to call anywhere without a charge. You go right through the computer. You don't even use the phone. So there's more than one way to skin a cat. And then of course there's always the public chat on your forum, on your social media platform, whether you're on YouTube or Space or Revue or Facebook, Bob Bockelman. You can pipe in a little public comment, chat, just say you're there. Anything you want, we would love to see that. But okay, we've been on almost an hour, so we'll go for a few minutes more and see if we can get anybody else to call. If not, then we'll chalk it up for at least a technical victory. And then now we just need to do after that. We need to get a victory with regard to having people come on and ask us questions or comment on some of the topics. So now that I know I can do it, I will start scheduling some topics. I doubt if I will come back on this weekend. It's not intended to be necessarily a weekend show, just like most talk shows are weekdays. But I do say that we will come back next week. We'll try several during the day. We'll also try some evenings. I don't know which yet. And if I do know, we'll publish. But usually we publish our schedules on Sunday of what's coming up that week for when we fix dates. When we know we have guests on our other shows. This one is kind of a random show for now until we actually get what we feel is an audience that is watching and will hopefully contribute, or at least at least watching, but certainly contribute. Because no need talking about here for nothing if no one's interested. So we need to find some things. And again, other than the taboos, we're going to try and look at positive things because we don't need a lot of negative right now. And we certainly don't want to contribute to some of the paranoia, rightfully or wrongfully, that's going on. Because I think everyone agrees that that type of situation is not healthy. It's not good for the situation itself. Certainly not good for your mental and or your medical. Certainly your mental health, because we're always talking about depression being so problematic when it is, and we don't need to get depressed, anxious, etc., because of this situation. In one respect, the old laissez-faire. I mean, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. We can follow all the guidelines as best possible, but who knows? It's going to happen, like shutting down schools and all for 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Suppose it comes on after that. I mean, we would love to say that. We're judging just from the very short history of this because China and maybe South Korea, I believe, took advanced, phenomenal steps. Of course, they lost tremendous number of people as well, and got a lot of people sick as well, more than we have. But they immediately combated it with testing, sanitizing, quarantining. So they acted very quickly. So, we're attributing their short-lived experience and trying to extrapolate to our situation and say, well, if we get 2 to 3 weeks and we should be over this. We don't know. Nobody knows that. That's just hopeful. And again, this quarantining stuff might prohibit that. But again, suppose after 2 weeks you've used up all of your toilet paper or your sanitizer. You got to go out at some time. You really can't just, the poor invalids and people who are self-contained in home or the nursing homes where it runs rampant. This is their life all year round. They have to depend on either just interaction with the other residents and or TV or internet. So we're experiencing some of that. And one of our local anchors on a news channel had come in contact with just reporting on an event that was here in New Orleans. And the head person or the person who was presenting did an interview. And because of that, he's had to quarantine himself and his family away from the station for 14 days. And every day he reports in, thank goodness. But he's telling about how awful it is for him. That not that his family's not wonderful and all, none of them have symptoms, but the idea of just not leaving and staying in for that time, it's on like third, fourth, fifth day. So he's still got not even halfway there. So it's going to take its toll, and that's what I'm saying. You really need to keep yourself busy. Music, wonderful therapy. I love music, so I can stay there when I have time and just listen to music. I think it's for any kind of mental. Music is a trend, and I'd love to hear your point on that because I know we after today every answer to any kind of mental challenge is therapeutic, and usually with some type of specialist, because now everything is such a niche. In the old days, a doctor, other than it was two doctors, a medical doctor and a surgeon, and surgeons did broad things. Now each specialty has subspecialties, and it trickles down, and that's the way the whole life is with regard to work. Used to be a carpenter. Now you have to be whether it's a finished carpenter versus whatever they call the unfinished carpenter. Anyway, folks, give us a call 504-383-3654. How's that for a rousing solicitation? Give us a call, just tell you out there who you are, whereabouts you are. You don't have to give all the details, but we would appreciate doing with testing. And we saw a successful test. My good friend did call in to show that I can handle the calls. We're going to be winding down a little bit, and rather than just off the fly, so we can start making list of topics. We will then have scheduled shows, not so much that it's the same time and day every week, but we will be rotating around the time clocks to see when we have better audiences and certainly more response. And not that they have a better audience, but I know most people are very, just like to look and see and listen and maybe make comments to themselves. But we would love to hear from you. Again, as long as there's nothing. Oh, the last thing, the taboo is malicious intent and content. We don't want you coming on here and, just ranting and raving about how bad a person is. And we certainly won't allow that. There's no reason for that. I mean, it's human nature, I understand. But at the same time, that's another thing we bring us down here, which we don't need. As I was saying, music therapy is a great alternative if you don't want TV or you're not a internetaholic. Put some music on. Just it doesn't have, any type that you like, whether it's rap, whether it's just classical, anything. It just can pass the time if you're quarantined, and for the most part, it's gonna make you feel better. It takes your mind off that. Who knows? You might take a little nap, something you usually always benefit from. Key there is finding alternatives, and that's what we want to do: find positive alternatives during this pandemic, or as I've heard people pronounce, pandemic. Pandemic. Okay. And who knows when that end date is, but so it'd be good. In one respect, it's sort of like think of it, if you want to put it in a positive note, a retreat. A retreat from workaday socialization. Many corporations have corporate retreats, and that's a great topic. If you've worked in the corporate field, and I think maybe in a nonprofit too, I have some experience with that. Just like we have a nonprofit show, Know Your Nonprofit. We've got a couple of guests coming on fairly soon. But years ago, they developed this thing, and it's a new industry, and nowadays it's commonplace, called an annual retreat. Well, a lot of that was strictly a cover for a vacation for some of the principals of the organization and or their lovely families, put together at some nice, or maybe sometimes not so nice, depending on the budget, area. Usually, unless you're really well off organization, usually well within either driving distance, so that way additional expenses aren't involved with regard to transportation, etc. You just maybe have to pay for the housing and or maybe some refreshments and the place you're staging it. But that whole industry became with what I call let's see if I can remember these cheerleading things, because they all have to get teamwork supposedly. And not everybody, and I know this is really revealing wrong, not everyone is a team player. That doesn't mean you're antisocial, but the whole idea, a lot of us are individual, if not experts, certainly proficient in our field. And to force these games, I guess I'm too old for it. The young folk, I guess, love it. And this competition and this whole framework up with people. That's it's got to be rah 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 rah, especially our company. You can rah 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 your company without going to a retreat, and it doesn't have to be that you espouse it. You can be proud of where you work and happy in what you do. And that's another topic we can always bring up. Is that how over the years the change of evolution of, and it's cyclical, I'm sure, evolution of working for an employer for life, that being your home away from home, your provider provided you with sickness and health, and also for retirement. So you depended. My father worked 47 years for the same company, and it was during World War II. Early on, he was still in college. They paid him to stay and got him a deferment so he could finish college and stay with them. So he was loyal to his demise. He only retired for maybe 9 months and passed away. Poor thing, after 47 years. Totally disproportionate. So when I left my first company after 10 years, just that was when I forgot the name of the thing, but where pension plans had to be guaranteed, depending on the size company, if you worked 10 years or more. So I was determined to get that. I was anxious to leave the company years before, but I stuck it out to get that little token, a pound of flesh, and moved on. So the thing there is that we've evolved to somewhere it's almost comedic in that many times the employer looks with disdain, doesn't vocalize it about his employees, and vice versa. Loyalty is probably a dead word among the young upcoming folk. They're only loyal to themselves. They want what's best. Many of them, as we progress, supposedly education is going further and further down, and attendance is it's like everybody used to get an attendance award in grammar schools, elementary schools. Uh, Nowadays, that's equal to a paycheck in many minds. If I go up, I need to be paid, whether I work or not, whether I do things that are totally related to me or just play around or don't do anything and get by with it. I deserve a paycheck. I deserve to be paid for that day. So loyalty, and then the employer on the other side is just as disloyal, because pulling away in the old days, they paid when I was in health insurance. They paid group benefits, paid for all of that for you. You never paid a dime originally. Then they started adding charges for the families. You paid the family charge if you had a family. Then co-pays, and then partial contributions on your half. To nowadays, they don't even put up programs. They do whatever minimal possible self-pay. They develop help you self-pay your own health plan totally, or health service account where you put in again your money with or without any contributions. Well, again, we're getting on the negative, and I'm telling you, it's a little bit after 10. So our dedicated viewers, we appreciate that. Thank you so much. I'm sorry none of you all could satisfy my request for giving us a call. But we're going to go ahead and sign off now momentarily and tell you we will be back next week, both in daytime and nighttime. I don't know what times yet, and we will have topics. So be prepared. And again, we'd love for you to call or at least public chat and comment on any of the topics that we do, or any ones that you can think of that you would like to generate. So until such time, you have a great weekend. Try to enjoy yourself. That's what we need in life. It's too short, as we always say. And we'll see you. So stay tuned and longer. That's our motto. Take care.